Okay, this is exercise 23, chapter 23. And the problems I gave you, here are the solutions. Where on the number line would you place the numbers negative 3.5 between negative 3 and negative 4, positive 4.8 between 4 and 5, and R is the opposite of 0.9. This is 0.9, very close to 1. This is negative 0.9, very close to negative 1. Okay. Midpoint, place a dot at the midpoint between negative 4 and positive 6. I guess that's at 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 intervals. Yes, positive 1. What is the largest, most negative number that can be formed by using the digits 5, 2, 9, and 1? So the least negative, in absolute value, that would be the smallest number. So digits 1, 2, 5, 9. That is the smallest number. That is the most positive, the closest to 0. And place a less than or equal or greater than sign between negative 5 and 1. Positive number is always greater than the negative number. That was simple. Simplify the absolute value of the opposite of negative 4. So this is positive 4. You want the opposite of that, that's negative 4. And the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. Here you have positive 4, the absolute value of which is also positive 4. And then, okay. So we want to go to the next one now. That's 24, exercise 24. And we wanted to, let me go, here we go. We want to find the altitude of a plane that goes from LAX. This is 111 feet. LAX is 111 feet. You climb to 30,000. You make the following changes. Plus 1,000, minus 3,000, minus 4,000. That minus sign really is not supposed to be there unless you have a negative here too. And then you climb, that should be positive 1,000. So when you take 33,000 and you add 1,000, you subtract 3,000, you subtract 4,000, you add 1,000. I got 25,000. Okay. Here I made the proper change, minus, minus, and plus. Then the 500 stocks, we have a net change. We start with 9.61. That was a net change, and on the close of the day, we have $1,697.60. We add 710, we add 2076, we subtract 3.1, we subtract 12.43. I came up with 1,709.91. I'll let you look at that quickly. Okay, I can go on. Oops, what happened here? Okay, I go on. So number 6, what is the sum of a number and its absolute value? Like negative 6 and the absolute value of negative 6 is 0, or 5 plus the absolute value of negative 5, which is 2 times 5. So it depends on whether you take the absolute value of a negative number or the absolute value of a positive number. You can get either 0 or you can get twice the positive number whose absolute value you're interested in. That's it for this one. And then for chapter 25, what number is subtracted from negative 450 to get positive 450? Now be careful, subtracted from. We start with a from number, negative 450, and we add a number x, and we are interested in the answer, which is 450. So what is x? Well, first of all, x has to be a negative number. How about negative 900? That gives you negative 450 plus 900, which is indeed positive 450. Okay, I bet there were several people who didn't quite make it that way. Then a helicopter flies at 5,000 feet above a submarine that's submerged at 100 feet. What's the difference between the two? Well, 5,000 minus negative 100, which is 5,100 feet. And then you can copy this quickly, I think. And then we wanted to show, I guess, that subtraction is not associative. Remember associative? You associate with somebody. So I got the negative 10, negative 6, negative 1. There's no commuting involved. You draw parentheses around negative 6, negative 10. Negative 6 is associated with negative 10. Or 6 is associated with negative 1. 6 is associated with 10, and 6 is associated with 1. You get 17 on the left, you get 15 on the right. So this is not associative. Subtraction is not associative. But, there's always a but. I'll let you copy that if you want to copy it quickly. Okay. Remember that I never subtract. I add opposites. So I am going to take negative 10 plus negative 6 plus negative 1. Negative 10 plus negative 6 plus negative 1. I associate negative 6 with negative 10. I associate negative 6 with negative 1. I get negative 17 on the left and negative 17 on the right. So the associated property does hold for addition of positive and negative numbers, not for subtraction. Okay? Careful. Then we had a ball that was dropped from a height of 48 inches. It rebounded to 36 inches, dropped again, rebounded to 27, and then a dog got it, got the ball after it rebounded to a height of 21 inches. What is the total distance traveled? Well, 48 inches on the first drop, and then 36 inches back up, 36 inches back down, 27 back up, 27 down, and 27 up again, and that was it. So how far did this travel? We get 48 minus 21, which is 27, by adding the numbers above. But be careful. This is not the total distance that the ball traveled. It traveled this way, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this. So the absolute value of all these numbers, which means 48 plus 2 times 36 plus 2 times 27 plus just 1, rebound to 21, and that was it. And my answer is 195 inches. Did you agree with that when you did this for homework? Okay, you want to copy that quickly? You have a 48 plus 72 plus 54 plus 21. Then we wanted to place one set of parentheses and one set of brackets to make the following statement true. I wanted to make negative 4 minus 3 minus 5 minus 4 equal to negative 10. I put parentheses around the 3 minus 5, brackets around the 4, and then the parentheses, which gave me 4 minus negative 2 minus 4. And then in the brackets, I got 4 plus 2, which is 6 minus 4, which gives me negative 10. You see my choice of parentheses and brackets? You agree with what I have done? All right. We are going into chapter 26 now, which is multiplying signed numbers. And again, I tell you about every chapter, and we are doing section 7.4, multiplying signed numbers, and 7.5, dividing signed numbers, in Act's textbook. Okay, multiplication of signed numbers. Let's remember that multiplication is repeated addition. 4 times negative 3, is negative 3 plus negative 3 plus negative 3 plus negative 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. That gives me negative 6. That gives me negative 9. That gives me negative 12. We can use the following reasoning whenever we multiply two numbers with different signs. So let's memorize that the product of two numbers of opposite signs is negative. And A times B is negative if A is negative and B is positive, or A is positive and B is negative. Opposite signs. 4 times negative 3. I know it's negative, so why don't I write the negative sign by itself and then copy what is left, namely 4 times negative 3. Negative quantity 12. And let's isolate the negative sign. I just said that. Let's apply this reasoning to multiplying two negative numbers. I take the negative sign and write it out by itself, and then copy what is left. What is left is 4 times negative 3. 4 times negative 3, after the negative sign is out. We just said that a positive number times a negative number is negative, and the opposite of a negative number is a positive number. Okay? So when we have a product AB that is positive, if either both A and B are negative or A and B are positive. So let's memorize that the product of two numbers of the same sign is positive. Try not to say negative and negative is positive when you think of multiplication. Say the product of two negative numbers is positive. Because negative and negative, if and means plus, you're in trouble. Negative 2 plus negative 3 is negative 5, not a positive number. Okay, some examples. We have negative 3 to the power 2 minus quantity negative 3 to the power 2 minus the absolute value of 3 quantity squared minus quantity negative 3 cubed. Okay. The 2 is only an exponent of 3, so 3 times 3 is 9. We have the opposite of that. A negative number times a negative number is a positive number because 2 is over all of the parentheses. So we have minus 9. The absolute value of 3 is 3. 3 squares 9. Minus negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9 times another negative 3 is negative 27, which we are subtracting. So we got 1, 2, 3 times negative 3, that's negative 27, plus negative 27, or 0. So we write all this for 0. I wonder how many ways you can write 0. Would somebody like to tabulate? This is the way you write 0, this is the way, this is the way. If you put that on the internet, different people can add on. I wonder what the end would be. I bet there's no end. There's always somebody who finds a new way of writing 0. Let's invent a new game. Draw or imagine a long line on the floor. Place yourself at the origin. Throw a pair of dice. Even numbers are positive, odd numbers are negative. So if the pair of dice comes out to be 1, 2, you have negative 1 and positive 2. If P is positive, you move forward that many steps. If P is negative, you move backward that many steps. Okay. You have thrown a pair of dice 4 times. You came up with 1, 3, 2, 5, 3, 6, and 4, 4. Now the product 1, 3 is negative 1 times negative 3, positive 3. You take 3 steps forward. 2, 5, positive 2 times negative 5, negative 10. You take 10 steps backwards. Then you have negative 3 times 6, which is negative 18. You take 18 more steps backwards. And then 4 times 4 is positive 16. You now go 4 steps forward. What is your final position? 3 plus negative 10 plus negative 18 plus positive 15. 19 minus 28, or negative 9. You are 9 steps backwards from where you started. Okay, you want to copy this maybe? Or take a good look at it? Would you like to play that game? Would be interesting, especially for children who are learning about signed numbers. Okay, I'll go on. I'm presenting you with a bunch of exercises now. I want you to simplify negative 5 squared minus the quantity negative 5 squared minus the absolute value of negative 5 squared minus the quantity negative 5 cubed. So negative 5 squared minus quantity negative 5 squared minus absolute value of negative 5 quantity squared minus quantity negative 5 cubed. And then we play the same game we had played earlier. And the numbers on the dice are 2, 3, 1, 5, 4, 6, and 4, 3. Okay, and that's it for this chapter. And then we have chapter 27, where we are dividing signed numbers. Okay? We have seen that division, which I write as a ratio, can be rewritten as a product. 12 divided by 4 is 12. 12 divided by 4 I rewrite as 12 over 4. I multiply the 4 by the 3 to give me the numerator, which is 12. Divide 12 by negative 4. Write 12 over negative 4, which is negative 3, because when you multiply the negative 4 by the negative 3, you're supposed to get positive 12. So I divided a positive number by a negative number. The quotient was negative. Didn't we have that before in multiplication, the same type of rule? Okay. Pick a number between 3 and negative 9. Suppose u is equal to the sum of x and 5. V is 3 subtracted from twice x. P is the product of u and v. Y is the difference of p and 2x squared. And z is the total of y and 15. Ooh, what the heck is this? Then your chosen number is the quotient of z and 7. Well, let's pick a number and go through that. Suppose you pick the number negative 10, which is not what I wanted you to do, I think, but I'll use this as an example. I don't want to do the problem for you, so I picked a number that you're not going to use. Okay. U was, I think, the sum of your number and 5. So we add the 2, we get negative 5. V was 2 times the product of u and 3, I think. V was 2 times the product of u, probably the difference of 2 times u and 3. 2 times negative 10 minus 3. P apparently was the product of u and v, 115. Y was, I guess, P minus 2 times your number, I think. And that gives you negative 85. Z is y plus 15, which is negative 70. I forgot the details up there. And z was the quotient of your result, and 7. So first of all, z is, that should not be z, that should be your number. Okay, your number now. Your number is z divided by 7, which comes out to be negative 10. So if you do it properly, each step by step, at this point you should come up with the number that you picked. Should we do it quickly? U is equal to the sum, and v is 3 subtracted from twice x. So we have the sum, and we have 3 subtracted from 2x. P is the product of these two. Y is the difference of p and 2x squared. Y is the difference of p and 2x squared. X squared is 100, 200, and then z is 15 added to, z is the total of y and 15, z is the total of y and 15, negative 70, and then your chosen number is the quotient of z and 7. Your number is the quotient of z and 7. Quotient means you're dividing and you're back at the number that you started out with. Okay. We have about 9 more minutes. I can keep that to half an hour. What is negative 12 divided by 4? I claim it's negative 3 because when I multiply 4 by negative 3, I must get negative 12, and I do. And then I want to divide negative 12 by negative 4. Negative 12 divided by negative 4 is positive 3. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. So when we divide two numbers of the same sign, we get a positive quotient. When we divide two numbers of opposite signs, we get a negative quotient. Doesn't that sound like what we had before in multiplication? We multiplied two numbers of the same sign, the product was positive. We multiplied two numbers of opposite signs, the product was negative. Okay. And then I think we are ready for the exercises. And how many exercises? 2 probably. You wanted to divide 24 by negative 2. And you wanted to pick a number. How about negative 11? What do you do with that negative 11? U is equal to the sum of your number and 5. So take the sum. You know what sum means. Then V is 3 subtracted from twice x. Be careful, subtracted from twice x. And then P is the product of U and V, the product of what you got here and what you got here. And then Y is the difference of P and 2x squared. Now subtract from and difference. Be careful. Okay, difference of P and 2x squared. And then Z is the total of Y and 15. And then finally, your chosen number should be the quotient of Z and 7. You think we agree with that? Oh, then we wanted to divide negative 24 by 2. Okay. Would this be positive or negative? That would be my first decision, and then divide 2 into 24, or 24 divided by 2. And then divide negative 24 by negative 2 again. What would be the sign first? And then divide negative 5 by 0. Ho, ho, ho. Divide by 0? Ooh, what was that? Was that 0? Was that 5? Was that negative 5? Oh, what is the quotient of a negative number and 0? 0. If I think of 0 as repeated subtraction, how often can I subtract 0 from negative 5? If I do it once, negative 5 minus 0 is still negative 5. I subtract 0 from that negative 5 a second time. Negative 5 minus 0 is still negative 5. I can do it a third time, a fourth time. How often can I do it? Or, if I write this as a fraction, I have, is it negative 5 over 0 or 0 over negative 5? And then I remember division in terms of multiplication, and I bet you I can find the answer, because I know that 0 times any number is 0. Okay. And then we want to stop. We want to let you do this. And we have 3 minutes left. So what do I do with the 3 minutes? I guess I'll let you copy this. I could make faces for 3 minutes. I think I have enough of a face.